Good evening. Sorry for the delay. Thank you all for being with us. We'd like to order this Brunswick City Commission regular scheduled meeting for Wednesday, 16th, 2025. If we could all please stand for the invocation, Pledge of Allegiance. Our invocation will be given by Pastor Kamayu Dickerson of Unity of Broadroom Church. It's good to see you, Commissioner Dickerson. Thank you for your to the community, for your service on the Housing Authority, and everything that you all done as a collect to not only change the culture there, but to bring about a different way of providing this to our seniors there. So thank you so much.
Yes, sir. It's our honor, and I'm humbled to be here tonight. Let us pray. Abba, Father, we thank you today as we gather this day as a community, united in purpose, seeking your guidance, grace. We thank you for the leaders among us, the mayor, the commissioners, and all who serve entrusted with the stewardship of our beloved city of Brunswick. In a world often divided, we ask for your spirit of unity to dwell among us. Help us to see beyond our differences, embracing the rich tapestry of cultures, belief, and experiences that make our community vibrant and strong. Heal the wounds that have caused pain. And God, I pray that you just bless our youth, bless all leaders that go about serving this community. And Abba Father, we thank you for this and give our leaders guidance, wisdom, and clarity. Bless this community. In your name I pray. In Jesus' name, amen. To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor. That we will move on to the approval of the agenda, adoption of the April 16th, 2025 regular scheduled meeting agenda. Any addendums or subtractions?
Mr. Mayor, I have two addendums to our agenda. I would like to make a amendment that we remove item number 4 from the agenda and defer item number 5 to our next regular scheduled meeting.
I just want to make sure, can we take both at the same time? Or do we have to, they can both be done at the same time. Okay, so the motion on the table is to remove item number and or is item number 4 just being removed?
Just remove.
Item number 4 is being removed, and then to defer item number. Any date specific, item number 5 can leave
The
it.
next scheduled meeting.
May 7th.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Hearing that as a motion, do I hear a second?
Second.
Hearing a first, second, all those in favor show by the usual sign of aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. Hearing none, passes, and the agenda is amended. Any additional addendums or subtractions? Hearing none, we will open a motion to accept the agenda as amended.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we accept the agenda as has been amended.
Hearing the first, do I hear a second?
Second.
The first and the second, all in favor show by the usual sign of aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. Hearing none, the motion and the agenda is adopted. With that, we will move on to number 2, recognitions, presentations, and awards. Recognition of January 2020 through April 2025 Employee of the Month. And is this city manager?
Was suggested by Commissioner Mayor Monroe.
Okay. Wonderful. All right. That was handed to me as we walked up here. Number 1, want to get them in order, so give us a quick second here. Thank you.
As a note, we normally
recognize employee of the month and publish that in our newsletter, and are thankful that commission is graciously adding this to their agenda. We will do this on a quarter basis going forward and have our employee of the month and retirees during that time be recognized officially at the commission meeting.
And this was something I brought up to city manager because I feel as if that we should, one, recognize publicly our employees of the month for all the work that they do for our city, as well as all the work that our retirees have put into our city and community. So I just felt that we should, recognize you.
Everybody's going to test my reading name, so if I miss a name, I apologize. But I want to up on what Mayor Pro Tem has said. We don't do anything without the hardworking people who ensure that the idea that whether they're here, whether they're coming from leadership in the department, they're coming from individuals who work in those departments, none of this gets without an incredibly hardworking staff that we are beyond thankful for. And a lot of times we get a lot of calls about things we do wrong, and we are good at those calls too. We get a lot of emails about things that ain't going right. I think oftentimes the most beautiful things are the things that you all do on a day-to-day basis, and all of the things do go right. So as the mayor, as an entire commission, as leadership staff, I just want to say thank you personally for everything that you all. Employee of the month, and this mayor and commissioners, you for your outstanding performance, service, hard work, and dedication, and recognize you as the employee of the month for January 2025. Brad Harrell, if you could come to the front, please. Perfect. We're going to ask you to stand up right here, and we'll get a picture at the end. Certificate, and the bearing commissioner, thank you for your outstanding performance, service, hard work, and dedication, and recognize the employee of the month for February 2025, Mr. Rankin. We're gonna give you a little time. For this employee of the month, mayor and commissioner, thank you for your outstanding performance, service, hard work, and dedication. Recognize you as employee of the month for March 2025, Shalyn Swinson. She's the only hey I get in the morning. Yeah. And for this, mayor and commissioner, thank you for your outstanding performance, service, hard work, and dedication, and recognize you as the employee of the month for April 2025, Angel Tumlin. We're going to sit up here and get a picture, but I do want to reiterate my thanks to them, because the people who you see before you are truly leaders of staff, the first faces people see when they walk into City Hall. I know they're the first faces I see when I walk into City Hall, and I'm beyond thankful for their eternal hard work and example of what the city of Brunswick really is. So thank you all so much.
And hold up your, can you hold up the
Mr. Don Holmes, we're going to come to the front, please. And if his family is with him, we're going to ask you all to come to the front as well, please. Come on, family. We in church. We call everybody to the front. Everybody to the front. Whole family. That's it. uh, we don't oftentimes get to do this because we don't often see who dedicate long of their life and so many years of their service to our city. The thing that is most important about what Mr. Holmes represents is what we all try to represent every day, and that's waking up, committing the hours that God gives us to be of service to others. And that service doesn't just come by just waking up and going to work. That service doesn't just come by clocking in and clocking out every day. Service comes to care about the people you work for. That service comes because you understand that you work for neighbors and your fellow citizens, your friends, and family. And that kind of service doesn't come without an enormous amount of sacrifice. It is not just a moment that we're sitting here before the Sunday, before the greatest sacrifice to represent. Mr. Holmes has done his very best to represent not only himself, not only his family, but the sacrifice that is before all of us by giving of his time, treasure, care, his concern, and his love to the citizens of the city of Brunswick. And for that, as your mayor, as your mission, those who get to call you friend, we are beyond full and beyond full of gratitude for your service to this great city. With that, we would like to present Mr. Holmes with a retirement certificate. Now, they told me they don't have to give this away for leave. He could just leave anyway. But we thought it was best to make sure a little something to put files to hang on his wall. And this certificate says recognition 23 years of hard work and dedication to the city of Brunswick Public Works Department. We are thankful. So once again, can we please give a round of applause and grab a few pictures?
Come on. And then you guys will have to use it.
Mr. Holmes served 23 years in the Public Works Department. So y'all know that's hard work. And y'all know they get complaints. So we thank him for sticking it with us. And please don't go because we're gonna be calling on you for some of that wisdom as we continue to work on things. Yes, sir. He like Dion. He said he ain't hard to. All right. With that, we will move to number 6. Approval of April 2nd, 2025 work session and regular scheduled meeting minutes. Is there any addendums or subtractions? Hearing none, we'll for a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the April 2nd, 2025 work session and regular scheduled meeting minutes.
Hearing a first, here a second.
Second.
Hearing a first and second, all those in favor show by sign of aye. Aye. All those against the same. Hearing none, the motion passes. Now move on to number, consider approval of financial reports as of February 28th, 25. Director.
Greetings, Commission. I want to,
Sorry, I got one just clarifying, Madam Clerk. The agenda, it says as of February, but is this as of March 31st? Because the report, it says March.
this is the February report as of February 28th, the end of all month of February.
Thank you.
Before going to the report, I'll please introduce my newest addition to the staff. This is our Assistant Finance Director. Her name's Leslie Beswick. Leslie, would you stand, please? Welcome her to the team. Looking forward to a lot of things, and definitely, as you call my office, you can definitely check with her as soon as I get speed. Thank y'all for allowing her to be with us. February 20th, 2025, we're going to the fund. Revenues for the month of February, we brought in $2,127,081, with a year-to-date of revenues for the fiscal year $15,000,834. Net revenues to expenditures were over $1,014,734. Cash balance as of 28/25, we have $9,524,356. Our South account at that month is holding $1,614,377.14, and our Georgia Fund One account is $7,909,978.78. Now, sales tax. Our sales tax for the February, we brought in $697,785. Year to date, we are at $3,306,768. Compared to last year, we're only down like about 1%, because last year we brought in about $700,240. Next page. SPLA 6. There was no activity in SPLA 6, and there will be a report given in regards to SPLA 6 coming up for our end of the month meeting. Projects for SPLA 2. SPLOST distributions received for SPLOST 22 projects, $10,009,277.96. To include interest, reimbursements, and total receipts for that month to the year inception is $5,301,081.82. Total cash on hand, $1,104,511.13. Norwich Street Common Fund. The Norwich Street Common Fund typically monthly, just pretty much interest for the month. And year to date about $550,816 for net revenues for the Norwich Common. Roosevelt Harris Multi-Purpose Center. Year to date total invoices $278,853. Total expenditure for that is $269,794. With a net budget balance of $9,069. Now our ARPA, next, ARPA, a cash balance, looking at about $5,561,057. Allocated spent in ARPA, $4,522,490. Next page. Sanitation fund. Our sanitation billing for the month of February, we brought in $1,243,736. Total revenue with the sanitation fund to include our franchise fees is $1,309,926. Total operating income loss and the total expense for that month is $1,043,250, with a net loss of $123,325. Total available cash in for our sanitation fund, $1,226,067. Waste disposal year to date, we're at about $783,871, and that includes the street sweeping. For our stormwater utility fund. Stormwater utility fees brought in for the month, 929,920. Inflows that include grant and our interest earned would be total inflows of 946,142. Total outflows of what we spent is 832,070. Crossing that account, total ledger balance for the account is 635,040. Our Lawrence Center, for our Lawrence Center, for the current month transaction of the month, had spent about $15,911.20. Total year-to-date transactions is about 136,394. And that's our year-to-date numbers for the Robert Lawrence Center. And that's the report.
Thank you, Director Perry. Questions from the commission?
I'm looking at, can you explain to me when you said year to date on the, like you report is February the 28th, 2025, and when your monthly income for the month of February?
Month of February, yes, ma'am.
So basically our year to date is based on a full year or calendar year?
Fiscal.
Okay, fiscal. So when you add your, from January into your year-to-date monthly revenue, and you come up, you added that $2,127,800, $2,127,081. Am I correct?
Correct.
To the year-to-date from February 31st, 25 report.
Year-to-date would include July 1 up until now.
So if you, our last report, it says year-to-date, which is
Sure.
fiscal year January 1 all the way.
No, fiscal.
Not January 1.
Calendar.
July 1.
Right.
July 1, 2024 to 28.
February 20th, correct. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So if you back up a month, look at your year-to-date for January 2025, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you add your monthly income revenue for February, number, according to this, equals to 15 million, right? Am I correct?
From July 1 to February 20th, correct.
Okay. So based on that, you said, I'm coming up with $947,811 less than what you're reporting on the paper.
From July to February
If
28th?
you just go July 31st, the year to it's 11,937,142. Okay, you got that? That's in your your January 31st, 2025. That number was reported, and when I add the 2 million, the 2.1 million blah together, that comes up to 14 something, but you have on paper your year-to-date is 15 million.
Might not include journal entries that might have been adjusted from the January numbers, because from January to February, there were some changes within our cash balances that sometimes we have to make about.
So what you're reporting less money in and versus money actually there.
If there were some journal entries that had to make some adjustments, that's a chance that could have happened, but I
But
can
we
update
looking
that.
at total revenue, am I correct? Looking at just, you're not talking about debits and credits. We just talking the total cash came in, total deposit,
Correct.
okay? Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
And your total deposits February is $2 million.
2127, correct.
$2,120,801. And you're supposed to add that total revenue, it's income, to your year-to-date revenue,
Correct.
okay? According to those two numbers, you have reported year to date 15,012,134. Am I correct? But I'm gonna say this. Go back and look at your January report, what you're reporting for revenues and expenditures. There's a difference too with your expenditures, as well as the difference to your year date on the law. So we are not reporting accurate. Now, unless I'm adding wrong, unless you can explain, these numbers are not correct.
Well, what I can do is, let me invite you down to the office this week and let me see, because we've made some changes to our ledger that would have thrown off the balance. And that can happen. That's a typical accounting procedure, but you're welcome to come to the office. Let's sit down and let's go over it.
The ledger, you know, my journal entries, if you say all these deposits came through, this is looking at logically, logistically happening. All these deposits through, and these deposits total $10,000. Okay?
Commissioner, they are not deposits. They are, we take the information on from the general ledger, and as he's saying, as January 31st, we have a general ledger that shows the amounts, and we pulled the month and year as January 31st. But once we pulled that general ledger from February, as he said, there are journal entries such as the sales tax may come in January on January 30th. Not show up in the report until we have that journal entry to add it to the ledger. So those are the differences that you see, but we have a ledger report that the information is pulled on as of the end of the month, and that's what's supported. So that's why we say it's not, you know, it may be accrual basis versus a cash basis.
Okay, so you are reporting what the ledger. That's what you're reporting what the ledger says. And looking at if there are any errors. You don't go back and check for anything that's reported.
Not errors that we look for entries. And yes, the entries are checked and they have balance. The system won't take them if they're not balanced.
So basically what you report on to us does not show, we don't see the actual amount. We're not sure, because when a person looking at paper, you adding one number to the net, it doesn't equal to what you're saying as year to date. So we basically disregard that and saying that everything that you report is not up to date or not true or is not what? It's not everything, that's why it says that.
This is Commissioner Harris. Can you all hear me?
Hold on one second, Commissioner Harris. City Manager McDuff finishing her answer. We'll come to you for a question.
Okay, thank you.
It's on a cash basis versus accrual basis or vice versa. A lot of our revenues are accrued. Some of them are put in when they're deposited, some of them accrued, such as our revenues for taxes are put in, they're billed, but they are adjusted based on entries that are as they're collected.
Okay.
So it's always a difference between maybe, but we take it from the ledger because we know the numbers have been counted in the system.
Commissioner Harris will come to you question and okay.
Okay, I guess I'm just wanting to take this opportunity to make a point of clarity, and so that we can move through this process, having now understanding that we're operating somewhat off of two different accounting systems, a cash and an accrual. Correct? City Manager, Mr. Perry?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so understanding that for purposes of these meetings and the accuracy of reporting the numbers, can you not do a running total for the accuracy of presentation of these numbers, also elaborating that there is a running total for to account for cash as well as accrual, so that we will understand that there will be differences based upon the ledgering of monies and expenses. Do you understand what I'm saying?
City manager, financial director.
Yes, I understand where I think where you come from.
Okay.
What I recommend is, as I stated, I invite the BA commission to sit down and be able to let's go over some reports that may be able to the city. That invitation is always still open. I think I did send out an invitation to them to be able to sit and go over some information you may like. So let's look at putting some time to whereas we can be able to probably go over the things that you will see that you will benefit from as far as that's concerned.
Well, I'm looking at the report. You all say cash base. So that's not, oh, that's just basic cash basis. So maybe like Commissioner Harris, maybe you do a separate column for cash basis, separate column for accrual. But we need to have a mix and mingle. We need to be straightforward, making this simple, so we transparency for all of our citizens to be able to identify. It's not here to all mumble jumble up and we trying to figure out what's going on in papers. It should be very clear to the point.
So I think what I'm hearing is after this meeting, we'd like to set a meeting to gain clarity on how the next presentation of these will go. And so,
Exactly.
a sit down with Harris as well as Commissioner Atkinson Williams to have a full understanding of what to see on the report. Any additional questions or comments?
I do have one question, well, probably two more, but this is for Senator. We already or have, I thought we were going to be presented with the up-to-date, or would be shown where Flash 6 account was recalled, but I'm still seeing the same old reporting.
No, I stated that that would be on the March financial report.
Okay, this is
This
where
is the February, and I apologize if you were, was talking about actual March financial
Okay,
report.
my apologies on that.
No problem.
And also, I assume in Splash 22 is just missing some journal entries because of inference as well. The difference is 4 million, no. But anyway, it's $99,228 difference from the cash balance as well.
I'll probably have to review exactly what you're.
It may
Okay.
be some outstanding checks that are, or some payment that has been made that's not been entered as a journal.
Okay, thank you.
Additional questions or comments?
I like to take this opportunity, Mr. Mayor, because I know we're going to be asked to vote on this matter, on this presentation. Can we defer the vote on this until these clarities are made? I don't see where it would hurt for us to present the clarified financials at the next meeting.
Let me go to city and city manager to ensure that this doesn't legally put the city kind of a bind having an approved financial.
No, I mean, financial reports are intended for informational purposes only, so to
Mhm.
the extent that they're approved or denied, I mean, deferrals, no problem. You could bring both sets back next month if it's had to happen before.
Sure.
Multiple months have been considered.
Good deal. So Commissioner, we can defer. I'm sure you would probably want to bring that forward as a motion. Before bring that as a motion, get a couple quick questions if you don't mind.
Yes, go ahead, Mayor.
Perfect. Interest on the amounts, are we keeping track of that, and what is the interest rates?
As far as our Prime South account, because most of the money is already in.
Not the Prime South. What's
Georgia Fund.
the Georgia Fund
Oh,
one? I'm
Georgia
sorry.
Fund. Yeah, that's a locked rate that I think was accepted once we went into that. That rate is much locked.
So last time I heard the Georgia Fund One was a moving interest rate that you had to keep an eye on because when I first got elected, the interest rate was underwater. And so in addition to the fees we were paying, we were actually losing money for holding it in the Fund One account. It does have a substantial, I won't say volatility, there's volatility in it. So those interest rates changed rapidly and then put a position where it was good to hold those dollars in the Georgia Fund One account. There seems to additionally volatility in the market right now, and I'm just trying to figure out what that actual interest number is to ensure we're not underwater holding money in that account.
At March, at 4.4%.
And what's our account at?
Pardon?
Our prime south interest rate?
The prime,
Yeah, this
Interest
is
rate?
the Georgia
this
Fund
is
One.
for Georgia Fund One.
Right, what
Yeah.
is the prime south interest rate?
Prime South? I'm not sure, I have to check.
Is it vary between each account at Prime South, or we have the same throughout for all?
According to what type of account it is. Yeah, some of it varies, but, I'd have to check.
Okay.
to see.
I
I
just,
can get you an interest
yep,
schedule on.
if
the
you can
account.
just
That's
give me
not a-
the interest rates on those accounts, and if I could get some breakdown of the volatility of the interest rate
Sure.
on Georgia Fund One, because I think it was a little bit higher than 4.4.
Well, I could, I have the, see, for last month, February, it was right at 4.4%. I
Okay.
think January,
It was
over
5,
5%.
yeah, and over the years that we've been, it's been higher than 4. So I just want to know the volatility over time, same as watching a stock. If we're getting down, at what point do we zero out and need to move that money immediately? Because there's no fees in moving money in and out of that account. So just love a breakdown when you get some time. The second one is, I know we've talked about this, and I just want to quickly state it. I think it is important for us to be working on actual projections over the next 5 years. I understand that we may have to bring in a consultant or a consultancy to work on that, but I think as a commission, we broad-based projections of where numbers are with not only the tax policy that we are putting in place, but also with new things coming online, such development on 17, possible or first future development in the Panova site and others, it would to have some projection understanding of what that is. And the quicker we get that, the quicker I think the entire commission make decisions with a little more forethought.
Looking forward to get with the commission with that information.
Okay, perfect. That's it from me. Any additional questions or comments? Hearing none, open it for a motion, Commissioner Harris,
No, Commissioner.
Commissioner Harris?
Mr. Mayor and Commission, I would like to make a motion that we defer the vote on the February 2025 financial reports.
Hearing the first, do I have?
Mr. Mayor,
Do I
Uh,
need to put it date specific?
No, I think because on Zoom, we just don't want to get in any trouble. So we will,
I do.
Okay.
for a motion.
I would like to move that we defer the vote on the financial report for March, is it March the 31st? February 8th, 25 to the next commissioner meeting,
March.
the second meeting in May.
Eh.
And
In May.
so February 28th, financial report be deferred to the second meeting in May.
Okay. That as, do I hear a second? Hearing the first and the second, all those in favor show by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Hearing none, the motion passes. Thank you, Director. With that, we'll move on to consider approval of GERMA insurance renewal, City Manager McDuffie.
Good evening. This is our city ability insurance renewal, which is done through Oak Ridge Insurance. Our total premiums estimate for the beginning of our coverage period as of May 1st, 2025. Last year, our premium was 511,841. This year, let me see if I can share my screen. This year, our premium is 548,000, which is a 7.2% increase. Our general liability premium increased by approximately percent. Our public officials liability increased approximately 11%. There was a slight decrease in our law enforcement due to a change in the number of officers. And then there was a slight increase in automobile liability of 5%. And a total for the mobile equipment was 14%. Our crime premium went from increased by 12%. The equipment down increased 7%, 7.6%. The management fees were kept the same, and our total for our renewal is estimated at $571,166. Have information is presented in our packet that showed all of the areas where the liability is coverage, limits of the liability, and all of those roughly stayed the same. And I think Mr. McGinty is here to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from the commission?
Mr. Mayor, I have a couple questions for Mr. McGinty. Good to see you again. I have a couple questions probably focused around our general liability. And as I look at the policy and some of the lines, I had a couple questions to the city manager, specifically related to two areas. I'm just scrolling down to the right. So two areas under general liability that are zeroed out that I had a question about are number one, didn't have anything for acreage, and also under refuse collection. So I don't know if you can speak to that, or maybe that's a city attorney can, so why we don't have any line items there.
Refuse like all generated revenue for that, and it wasn't should have been. Parks should include it as part of fund.
So in the general liability policy or under
The premium charge for the park should be covered as part of it. Is based primarily on the general fund operating.
okay.
So they don't break out every item. Charge a rate.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. All right. The confusion that I had then was because those items were listed in your individual line item. I see what you're saying. So the 55 and 721 are gross operating expenditures covers those other categories like the pool and our splash pad and those kind of things.
55 million.
55 million, excuse me. That answers my question. Thank you.
Any additional questions or comments, Commissioner Harris?
I'm just gonna ask that the presenters and the speakers please step closer to the mic and speak into the mic, because I can't hear, and if I can't hear, I'm sure others that are on virtually can't hear either.
My apologies. Can you hear better now?
I can. Thank you, Ms. McGinty.
Perfect. Commissioner Atkinson Williams?
McGinty, this is just to help me get better understanding. Under the coverage features, no premium audits, what does that mean or represent?
That means is general liability policies, commercial general liability policies are based on estimated revenue at the beginning. And then after the policy expires, they send the auditor by or ask the insured to report the actual expenditures and then adjusting him up or down on the actual. Here, we just, the GERMA fund takes the estimated expenditures, so if they go up, the premium doesn't change. If they go down, premium doesn't change.
Okay, thank you.
Additional questions or comments? Hearing none, we will open it for a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the IRMA insurance renewal.
Hearing the first, do I hear a second?
Second.
First and the second, all those show by sign of aye. Aye. All those opposed, the same. Hearing none, passes. City Manager, thank you, Mr. McGinty.
Thank y'all.
Move on to number 9, consider approval to change Wednesday, May 21st, 2025 commission meeting date to Tuesday, May 20th, 25. Do I hear a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I move we consider moving the Wednesday the meeting on the 21st to Tuesday, May 20th.
Hearing the first, do I hear a second?
Second.
Hearing the first and all those in favor, show by sign of aye. Aye. All those opposed, the same. Hearing none, the motion passes. We'll now move on to the attorney's items. Consider approval of memorandum of understanding between the City of Brunswick and Forward Brunswick LLC.
Good evening, Mayor Commissioners. What you have before you is the MOU between Brunswick and Ford. This is the MOU related to the project that is going on at the 2400 block of Reynolds. I think everybody should recall there's a presentation made late last year, related to the grant funding that's available from the Georgia Equity Fund for the rural infrastructure for workforce housing. We were awarded that in September, and it allowed $2.5 million to the construction and installation of infrastructure in the area surrounding the 2400 block of Reynolds Street. The MOU between the city and Forward Brunswick is a requirement of the DC grant funding documentation. It governs our contractual privity with Forward Brunswick related to the installation and construction of those infrastructure improvements, which include stormwater, sewer, fire, hides, and that is kind of our only role in that contractual relationship with Forward Brunswick. There will be DCA has additional requirements of Forward Brunswick as they move forward through that grant funding program. That require the construction of the housing that's on the actual property, and sets forth, if you look through the EU, part of the requirements from DCA was that we did at least identify what type of housing was being constructed, how it was going to be conveyed, whether it be sold or rented, the range in which it could be sold, and a time frame which the infrastructure needs to prove, which is 24 months. The individual money that has been allotted towards the infrastructure improvements, but also what is identified by Forward Brunswick to be used for the construction of the residences that are going to be located on the properties. I'm not sure if there's any specifics by the commission that I've received quite a bit of requests for clarity. We've made some revisions of MOU that brings it into compliance with DCA, and it is for you for approval, consideration and or approval.
Questions, comments from the commission?
Attorney Curry, I have a question about and I left my copy, but you have in term number 5, okay? When at one point it says based on DCA 4 months. So in this point, you said that effective for longer than the 24 months in the new one, updated. But when you said when it's executed, but how long? I guess the question is, how long do they expect the project to last?
How
Or
long does
to
who?
completion, the infrastructure?
The infrastructure, the estimated timeline to complete the infrastructure is 12 weeks. Because the city is approved, y'all also know that the city is approved and awarded bidder for the RFP at the last commission meeting. And I believe that time frame is estimated to be 12 weeks to improve the infrastructure.
Okay, so basically it would be with time period that the DCA said the 24 months is allowed. Because in one document, one version, it says award end date specified in the documents. The 12 weeks, because it will be executed, say, whenever executed,
Yep.
if it's executed, but from the date that it'll be executed, basically it has.
Yep, and we had to seek some clarity from DCA on, because I do think that there's the way that the fund, and this is a brand new fund being administered, and I think we're one of the first to get it, way that they had it worded from their perspective. Of course, they're looking at the global project as it relates to the building of the infrastructure, building the infrastructure and the infrastructure and the residents. So they have a separate agreement with Ford Brunswick that Brunswick will have to abide by to make sure that they continue within that program. The city's MOU is related solely because we will eventually become the owner of infrastructure related to the completion of the infrastructure. So they're still going to be bound. DCA is still going to have expectations of Ford, but they're different and unique than what our expectations would be. So 12-week, and I know that I've added also whichever is earlier. From my perspective, our contract would not be intricately intertwined with the obligations to build residences on the property, because we're getting brand new structure and we're not having to pay for it because there's been 2.5 million awarded. So once we get what we are promised, they are then going to have to go and through their contract with DCA, complete whatever obligations are required of them.
Okay, fine. And this is not, well, it's not directly to the MOU. City manager, this is a question. Were you able to get requests completed for us, the in-kind service so far with this application process?
I have not gotten that yet, but I will follow up and make sure we get that. I apologize for that. I did ask for, and Gerald did send me something saying that they had not, anything in the application that specifically, addressed the in-kind. And I think he's here, but I don't know if he can address that anymore.
Put any kind of matching numbers in the application. I can get you a summary of kind of what we've got in staff-wise to this point, but there was nothing included in the application.
May have not been included in application, but I know last year, a year ago, when they were voting to to do this partnership, so they apply for the grant, I clearly spoke about our manpower hours, which is in kind. And we need to do any parts of this project that we, as the city, are doing work, we need to somewhat keep a log. Because I believe, I know I said hours, manpower hours, money, and money time, and time is money. Okay, so that's all for us internally. We need to make sure, because what we are contributing, even though we are getting an infrastructure, but we still need to, we are contributing as well. Thank you.
Any additional questions or comments for the city attorney?
Thank you, Brian. Appreciate all the dates.
Commissioners, before Brian checks out, I just want to make sure you don't have any questions.
You're speaking to me, Mayor?
Yes, ma'am. I just wanted you were all good and we weren't skipping by you with any questions for Brian on the MO.
No, no, I think, Commissioner, Atkinson Williams, addressed the, in-kind services. I was able to get some clarity from, Commissioner Saby, and, the questions that I had, previously, regarding the MOU. Brian, did provide the information on that, so, I'm good. Thank
Yes,
you.
ma'am. Thank you, Brian. I know that we have board members for Brunswick here. I know we have spent a little bit of time in the weeds of an MOU and talking about infrastructure projects and partnership, but I don't want to skip by it without giving them time to talk about overall project, the progress of the project, and just give them a moment, talk to the city if anyone is willing, ready, and able. I also see former Commissioner Lee Martin, and it's always hard not to open it up if we have a former commissioner in the house. So if anyone on the board would like to say anything, we'd love to open this for a moment for all. If not, we totally understand. If you're gunshot, it's all good. All right. That Commissioner say,
Yeah, I do want to publicly state that I am an employee of Brunswick, as you know, and I will be abstaining from this vote this evening.
with that, we will open it for a motion to consider of a memorandum of understanding between the city of Brunswick and Fort Brunswick LLC. Do I hear a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the memorandum of understanding between City of Brunswick and Fort Brunswick.
Hearing,
LLC.
do I hear a second?
Second.
Hearing a first and second, all those in favor show by the usual sign of aye. Aye. All those are the same. Hearing none, the motion passes. Thank you all. With that, anything for executive session?
Yeah, we have all three. So we'll have all three: litigation, real estate, and personnel.
All right, with that, we will open it for a motion to adjourn to executive for litigation, real estate, and personnel.
So moved.
Hearing a motion, do I hear a second? Hearing the first and second, all those in favor show by the sign of aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. Hearing none, we are adjourned to executive session. We are back from executive session. I will wait on a quorum to be in the room. There we go. We got quorum. We are back from executive session. No action was taken. Opening for a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion we adjourn.
Second.
Hearing a first and a second, in favor show by sign of aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same. Hearing none, passed. We are adjourned.